Caleb Williams, is he a lock to be the number one pick in this draft? Now, you get a lot of conflicting reports. First thing is he doesn't want to play in Chicago. That's been the first report. So my man Tristan over on TikTok already said, nope, he's not a lock at number one. I'm kind of the same way. I don't know that he's a lock. But let me address the first part of this is I know a lot of people say, oh, he should just be grateful to be in the NFL. He should just be thankful to be there. He shouldn't dictate where he wants to go. He's being selfish. Well, if you remember way back when, I know a lot of you guys, especially on TikTok, a lot of you guys weren't even thought about being born yet. But John Elway literally did the same thing to the Baltimore Colts at the time. That's how far back this was. Again, 1983, the Baltimore Colts. He told them, don't draft me because I'm not going to play for you. And they drafted him. And sure enough, he signed with the New York Yankees and went to spring training. And basically forced Baltimore to trade him because he said, I'll just go play baseball. And it was viable because John Elway was a damn good baseball player. So him playing baseball was a legitimate thing. So they traded him to Denver. Eli Manning did the exact same thing with the Chargers. He's like, I'm not playing for you guys. I'm not going to do it. The difference in that case, he didn't have another sport that he could play, but Eli Manning, his family came from money. I mean, his brother was Peyton Manning, but his dad is Archie Manning. He could have sat it out and waited it out. Bo Jackson kind of did the same thing, didn't he? With Tampa. So, there's the thing is I just don't think that he's being selfish. Sometimes you just know a situation you don't want to put yourself in. And let's be honest, I know this is going to piss Bears fans off, but the Bears franchise over the last 20, let's just say ever. When was the last time the Bears drafted and developed a quarterback? When was the last time they did that successfully? I don't think anybody can think that. So, and that's the whole thing. That's I don't know. That's my thing. Now, my man Darren Howard on TikTok says, I don't like dictating where you go, never have. Go make a difference if you're that guy. That's true. That's one thing. Hey, you get drafted, just go play, go be great. But sometimes you can't be great because if you get drafted into a bad organization and they make you bad, it is what it is. It is what it is. But do I think that he's the consensus number one? I don't. I like Drake May. I think Drake May is really good. So, and Alfonso is asking me, Big, if you were the GM, who's my number one? If I'm Chicago and I've already heard these reports, and maybe they're just bluffs, whatever it is, do your homework, number one. Take the guy you want. First of all, if I'm Chicago's GM, I do not trade Justin Fields. That's the first thing. So for me, I don't trade Justin Fields. So if you're asking that, I keep Justin Fields. I draft Marvin Harrison Jr. We got the number 9 pick. I go get me a tackle, and that's how I roll if I'm Chicago. That would be number one. But if you've already decided to get rid of Justin Fields, then I probably take Caleb Williams, but I'm going to do my homework because I really like Drake May. That's my thing. So, and somebody, the man's talking about the problem is the Bears coaching, not the talent. It's probably a little bit of both, but you're right. Coaching hasn't been good. Like I said, they haven't developed anybody in forever. So, I don't know. And the thing that I have with Caleb Williams is we saw a lot of throws that he makes that are not on time, on schedule throws. A lot of improvising, which is fine, but you don't get to do that all the time in the NFL. You got to drop back and throw the football on time in traffic. You know, that's the thing that, with Jaden Daniels, people love Jaden Daniels, but you didn't see him doing that all the time. Or Jaden Daniels was better, but think about like Bo Nix or Michael Penix. You really didn't see those guys do it. I mean, they were schemed. They're throwing to wide open guys, throwing the ball deep down the field. There wasn't a lot of times where you're just seeing, okay, run a dig route and I'm going to throw you open. I'm going to throw it into a tight space where you might be covered, but because where I put the ball, you're going to be open to catch it. You didn't see a whole lot of that out of Penix and Bo Nix. Now, again, that's not their fault. The system they played in, it is what it is. And somebody's pointing out, Chuck Miller said Penix had really good receivers. Yeah, he did. So did Jaden Daniels. But here's another thing. So did C.J. Stroud. I mean, you go back and look at C.J. Stroud. Look at the receivers that he was playing with. In his 2 years as the starter at Ohio State, it's like a who's who. And he turned out to be pretty good so far. So I get that part, but, sometimes there's some context to it. I'm just not sure that Caleb is I think he's the best talent. I think he's the best player. However, if I'm the Bears general manager, like I said, I'm not trading Justin Fields. I'm taking Marvin Harrison, number one. I know, you can't take a wide receiver, number one. Why the hell can't you? Yeah, you can. If he makes your franchise and your team better, why the hell can't you take him number one? I absolutely would. I don't care what see, I think people get caught up in the naysayers or caught up in a narrative. My job is to make my team the best that it can be if I'm a general manager. I don't care what conventional wisdom says. I don't care what everybody else has done. I don't care about any of that. All I want to do is win as many football games as I can win this year. I don't even worry about the next 10 years. I worry about this year because my job could be gone if I don't do a good job this year. Do that. And then let everything else fall by the wayside. So that's why I don't think, and maybe that's why I don't say that Caleb Williams is a lock at number one, because the Bears might be thinking the same way I'm thinking. We're not going to trade Justin Fields, but we are going to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., and we're going to draft him number one. I'm just saying that's what I would do. I would not get rid of Justin Fields. If Fields isn't horrible, I'm not saying he's played great, but 3 years, 3 offensive coordinators, what are we doing? Some continuity would be nice. So a little bit more coaching, a little bit more weapons, a little bit better offensive line would be nice. You can't throw a guy out there, give him nothing, and then say, well, he can't play. That's not fair. That's not fair. And I know people are going to say, well, look at Mac Jones in New England. Okay, you can say the same thing. Now, Mac Jones don't have the talent, but you could still make that same argument. I mean, hell, Mac Jones had a special teams coordinator and a defensive coordinator calling his plays for him 2 years ago. What the hell? You talk about setting a guy up for failure. And my thing is, if you didn't want him, just, hey, we didn't want him. It's not going to work out. Just go that route. But don't embarrass the guy. So, David Gonzalez over on YouTube, he's got a comment. The best talent does not equal the best player. Ask anyone who shared a locker room with a talented but toxic teammate like Draymond. Some players are not negative by hurting their teammates' performance. Well, here's the thing about Draymond. I mean, you can't bring Draymond into the conversation because Draymond is not at the top of the food chain when it comes to players. So that's the difference. And if you ask Draymond's teammates, at least publicly, they say they love him. So that's a little bit different. But I get what you're saying. I get the route you're going with all of that. I get the route that you're going because it does make sense. It does make sense. But best talent does not always equal the best player. No, but also it's what you got to fit into what we're trying to do. For instance, if you got two great tackles, the best tackle could be coming out. You're not drafting that guy because you already have two guys. So it's also about fit. And I know people get hung up on, best available player. You always take the best available, or you take what's good. Hey, be smart. Be smart. You know, if I got two good tackles and they're under contract for a few years and they play really well, why would I draft one first? And then say, oh, well, we could make somebody a guard. Don't do that. Take another need. It's not like football teams don't have needs. And you can't just get caught up in the best available. I don't believe that. You can't do that as a franchise because we've seen teams do that and then they get loaded up on a position and then they're still, man, well, you still can't run the football because you got 11 defensive ends and they're all good, but your offensive line is terrible. Well, it's because you kept taking the best available player and you didn't address what needed to be addressed. So that's my point. That's what I would say. My man X Capone said, yeah, schemes matter. Yeah, they got to matter. They got to matter. And I don't think enough people look at it that way. You got to draft for what you're doing. So, and it doesn't matter if the Bears are trash. I'm just saying the Bears are trash. Well, okay, what difference does that make? Doesn't make a difference at all. If Fields gets traded, I hope he goes to Pittsburgh. Tomlin will do him very well. Look, y'all know I'm a diehard Steeler fan. I'm on that train. I'm on that. If they trade for Justin Fields, I'd be on that train. So I would like that. I would like that. Darren Howard's got a suggestion for the Bears. Let me know what y'all think about this TikTok. Fields, Harrison, DJ Moore. Then you can get a premier edge rusher or a tackle at number 9. Sounds pretty good to me. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I would do. I keep Fields. I got DJ Moore. I got Harrison Jr. They got a decent running game already. You don't need to even worry about running back. Go get you a tackle or another edge rusher to put on the other side of Sweat. And the Bears got something. They got something. Don't overthink it. Not to mention, the Bears have Justin Fields for the next 2 seasons. They have this year, and they even have next year because of his 5th-year option. You've got some time. Don't give up on him just yet. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you think that Caleb Williams is just better than him, fine. Then you go ahead and you make the trade. But you better be sure because you know what's going to happen. Your job is going to be on the line. Because Justin Fields, while he hasn't been great, he has not been horrible. And we've seen the flashes of him being very good. If you could get it more consistent, I think you got something. That's what I would do, though. That's absolutely what I would do. So I think you keep Fields. You go get Harrison at 1, get you a tackle or an edge rusher at 9, and then you go from there. And then you go from there. I mean, and the Bears got a ton of cap space, too. It's not like they can't address other needs in free agency. They can do that. Go get you some defensive players, and the Bears can be good. They got an opportunity if they just don't get in the way. However, and I know Bears fans, you all know this, Bears, the organization of the Bears tends to get in the way. The leadership for the Bears is so bad and has been so bad for years. I feel bad for Bears fans. I really do. Because I'm a personal believer that the NFL is better when the Bears are good. I'm not saying they got to win the Super Bowl. Hell, they haven't won one since 85. An overrated football team, I might add, 85 Bears. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Different conversation for a different day. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. But I just think that their organization has just been in the way for so long. It's sad. It's just sad. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I like I said, I like the Bears, but if they just don't get in the way, if they just don't get in the way, I like what they can do. I really do.